So there's just some basic ingredients in making candy, and that would be sugar, light corn syrup, and water. And along with that, you're going to want, today we're using raspberry, and you're going to want some coloring. So let's get started, shall we? First off, we are going to need 3 cups and 3/4 of sugar. And we are going to need, let's do the water first. It's 1 cup of water. And the fun part. This part, I'm going to have to put the camera back on my head. Alright, let's turn that just off of high. Probably right between, high and medium, right in that area. And there, I'll pour all that in first here. Give that a good scrape. We're not going to use this anymore because that in 300 degrees I don't think works very well. I don't know if it's safe or not, but before this gets heated up too bad, let's stir this ingredients together. Making candy. I started watching these YouTube videos. There is one guy down in Florida that makes candy. Gosh, I can't think to name drop right now. And there's another family up on the East Coast, I believe. They make candy in their basement, and now those are the videos that I watched up to making this. One important part that you're going to need is a candy thermometer, because you're going to want to monitor and watch as the candy gets higher in temperature, because when it hits 300 degrees, that's when you want to take it out. And we'll get that position in here just right. I pre-checked it just to make sure that it was not touching bottom. Unfortunately, the 300 mark is going to be really hard to see. Just going to have to watch it the best I can and, go from there. Basically, it's just a stirring job. You want to keep stirring it, and keep stirring it. We are making raspberry today. I was going to add a little blue to it, but I'm thinking we might just go red. Come on in. Oh, you came at the perfect time.
Making candy again?
I am making candy again.
Oh, you got your GoPro.
I got my GoPro on my head too.
Just put the acid in already? No LSD in there?
Right?
You're gonna edit this out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you always do.
More red.
More red.
Blood red, there we go. Not really, but I don't know, I think if I add a little bit of blue, it'll actually darken it up.
It will.
Just gotta heat it until it starts to roll over and boil, and then I can stop stirring it for a while. The first time I did this, I got scared right about...
Want it to turn white on top.
I was like, oh cool, it's starting to boil, and then I'm like, oh man, it's rising. Oh, it's rising. Is it gonna go over the top? And no, it stops. This is the fun part where you stick your finger in there to see how hot it is.
It's not hot. Molten candy lava.
Right?
Alright, I'll see you, Jay. Have fun making.
See you later. And what is the purpose of making it boil? Well, you want to boil off all the water out of this mixture, because when you get all the water out, that's when you hit the candy stage. So we're getting close. We're working it here. Let's see where we're at on temperature wise. Right about 225 now. So it's a slow process, probably about 20 minutes before we actually pour the candy onto the tray. And well, that's the fun process. It's the hot process, but it's the fun process. Well, the first time I ever made candy was this batch here, which is extra powder does not have a lot of flavor and it's bigger pieces. The second and the last batch that I just made has a lot more flavor. It's smaller pieces and it tastes a lot better because I put more flavor in. Very orangey. And this one's going to be raspberry. I was going to do it a new way, but I think I'm just going to do it this way because these are pretty nice pieces here. So raspberry is where it's going to be today. Now got it on the tripod to film a little better. So 250 degrees, most of the water is now out of this, and from this point forward it's going to go pretty quick. This is 1 fluid ounce that we're going to add to this entire batch, so it's going to be pretty raspberry candy. I'll set that off to the side someplace safe. It doesn't smell too bad. Anyway, now we need to stir that in and boil off all the water that was in there. Alright, now it smells like raspberry. I gotta run outside and I gotta grab that very cold sheet. And I just realized that I totally forgot to put butter and stuff down on here. Normally you'd want to put butter or some sort of something to keep the candy from sticking, you know, on the sheet. I did not do that. So in the event that I cannot turn this candy over and get it to a cooler stage, I'm just going to let it sit the way that it is, and once it cools it will come out there. Alright, that's all I can do right now. I normally use a smaller pot than this, and it's really harder to deal with. Alright, let's see if I can... No, okay, so because I did not... Great. If I would have used powdered sugar and a little butter like I should have, this would flip a lot easier than it is. It's not. However, because I know how candy works, I know that I will be able to get this off of here once it cools off. So now we're just going to let gravity do its course, and I want to cover as much of the bottom of this pan as I can before it gets hard. Oh, that thing's hot. All right. All right, so the last thing we really have to do is just let that start cooling, and then we're going to take these cutters right here and give it a groove, and that way when it does come out of its form, it will actually break right along these lines. You're gonna have to keep doing this quite a few times because the softer candy that's not quite hard yet is going to keep filling into those crevices, so you got to work fast, but you got to understand that you're probably going to have to do it again. So, and the outside edges are actually cooling off pretty good already, so I'll try to make this a little bit smaller here. Maybe I'll take these on my snowmobiling adventure this weekend and let some of those guys try it out. Oh yeah, so the outside edge is already getting too hard almost to work with. So So it won't be long now before the inside is doing the same thing. Alright, let's go back across this way here real fast. Candy making so simple, anyone can do it. If I can do it, you surely can do it. Pretty simple ingredients, depending on what size you want to make. That's you know, is the recipe you want to use. I just found this one off the internet and decided to use it. So I think at this point I am going to go put this outside on the ground, and I'm going to let the beautiful UP weather take care of the rest of it. Thing outside. Hot, hot, hot. Hot, hot, hot. Hot. All right. Maybe 5 minutes. Yeah, I think we can make it work. I bet these work nice now, huh? Oh, yeah. Right. A little powdered sugar here in the bottom of the pan. Take the powdered sugar and you want to put it over the top of that because it's going to be a little sticky, a little ticky, a little tacky, and the places where you have them right here, look at that, they break right in pieces here. And now we're just going to fast forward this little process and it's going to look really cool. Candy's going. Looking pretty good. I missed you there back there when, you know, I was making this candy and you weren't there. Sad to say, but you're not going to be able to have any, you know.
Is it hot?
Alright, go ahead, try it. It's not bad, it's okay. Can you taste the raspberry in there?
I got it.
Oh, okay. You answer that one. Beautiful, beautiful candy. Make some candy at home. All sorts of different flavors you want to use, colors. I'm sure you can figure it out. I mean, if I can do it, I'm sure you can do it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that big like button, and hit the share button. And follow me on Facebook where I post stories and cooking tips like this all the time. Have a great day, everybody, and happy candy making.